phone? Okay, you gotta move over so you can get in the Facebook screen. Up close and personal, George. Put Halo on. I'm not ready. I'm not ready. Got your headphones on?
Yes, ma'am.
Move these out of the way. Hello, hello.
Hello.
Now, it's really important that you speak into the mic.
Okay.
Sometimes, like, you'll get excited. You turn to me and do this. You see how you can't hear me anymore?
Okay.
So, you gotta just make sure to be in the mic. So, if you want to turn and look at me, you turn your mic with you.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
If I can't hear you, they can't hear you.
Okay. All right. Do you hear me now?
They can hear you.
All right. Do you hear me now?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
But the people in the air can't hear you.
Okay. All right.
And let's see. Which mic is it? What number is on there?
3.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. Do you hear me?
Now, you comfortable leaning in? Cause you
Yeah.
can.
I'm fine.
You comfortable?
Yeah, I'm good.
Hi. Hi.
Oh, that's that New York right there.
Yeah, baby. New York Giants with them Cowboys gave them 2 L's so you can spell Dallas properly.
The fact that they beat
That's
Dallas,
funny.
that makes me like them. Other than that,
I don't know with no hating fans.
any team that puts a Manning at quarterback is just not very smart in my book.
That does what?
That puts a Manning at quarterback. Doesn't matter. Eli Payton, not good quarterback. But then Archie wasn't a good quarterback, so I mean, what did you really expect?
I wrote this song. Alrighty. Okay. Alright, Facebook Live. I'm sorry. I'm a mess. I'm a mess. But we're doing it. We're
Here
doing
we
it.
go.
Alright. We're back. This is Dr. Intimacy. You're listening to Inspired Intimacy Talk Radio live right here in the beautiful city of Arlington, FBRN.US. That's Fishbowl Radio Network. Shout out to the Fishbowl fam, Sammy, Angelo, Jesse, all of those. We love you guys. We love you. Hey, if you want to get your own show, contact me so I can get you hooked up. All right, this is a great place to get started in radio. But this is Dr. Intimacy. We're about to have a naked discussion about the language of intimacy with my very special guest, Mr. George E. Baker.
Thank you so much.
The third.
Thank you for the E. Thank
We
you for
just
the E.
gonna call you George. So
Okay, But if you say my whole name, you got to put the E in there.
Yeah, we
You-
say
you
the whole
have to
thing.
put
We
the E.
gotta put the E in. I got you. You know, my middle initial is A. Lenine A. Hanaya. FYI to all of the men out there who think you're my husband. I'm not changing my last name when I get married. That's my Hollywood name. So I will die Lenine Hanaya. So I'm just saying, if you're the one. But anyway, that was a side note. It was just a side note, you know. But we're talking about the language of intimacy, and of course that always makes me think of marriage and connection. But you actually chose that title, George, because I like for my guests to come in here and talk about what they are passionate about, what really matters to them, and you chose that title. Why?
One of the things I believe that as a godly man, one of the aspects of God, the most potent aspect of God is the fact that He is love. And when you read the Bible, I always consider the Bible to be the greatest love letter ever written.
Mm-hmm.
Every word of it is about His love for us. So if I say that I am godly, then I need to be able to express how I love to who and what I love. And a lot of times we get into relationships and I know how to say the words, I love you. But do my words match up with what's in my heart? And I say this: we are trained to perform, but we are equipped to be intimate. Intimacy comes from a true equipping. You have to know, you have to learn. Because I can't tell you how I'm going to be intimate with you. I have to learn you in order to be intimate with you. If I don't, I can know your body and not know your soul. I can know your body. I can know what pleases you. My performance can please you, but my heart can yet be far from you. Mm-hmm. And intimacy seeks a heart-to-heart, a soul-to-soul, a spirit-to-spirit experience.
Right, right.
And I need to learn how to express that, because what's in my heart is going to come out of my mouth. So if all I can talk about are your body parts, then all I want is the body experience. But when I talk about intimacy, the first two letters, true intimacy is not about me getting into you. It's about me letting you into me. Have we opened? I'm trying to get you to open, but am I open?
Yeah, I like what you said. You said if all I can talk about is your body parts. You said it differently, but I just thought of all you want is a part of my body.
And because I'm going to speak to what I desire. If I go to McDonald's, if I want McNuggets, that's what's on the menu. I want McNuggets, or I want a quarter pounder, or I want fries. But when a man looks at the menu of a woman, if all I'm trying to look at it, if all I desire is breasts and thighs, that's what I'm going to speak to. I'll take breasts, I'll take thighs, I'll take other stuff. But sometimes you can miss out on the reality of who that person is, because all you ever want to touch is the outside. Can you I wonder, with most men, have we ever really been inside a woman?
That's so deep.
I mean, have you ever really been inside a woman?
That's so deep. That's so deep.
You've been in the bed with her. You may even have children, but have you ever really been inside her?
Wow. You know, and we, the saying on here is that we're having naked discussion about love, life, and intimacy, hashtag no socks. And a lot of times no socks means that I throw myself under the bus very early on in the show.
Okay.
So I'm just about to strip down right now, because it's making me think about something. You know, I think I become more aware probably every couple of months how powerful language is, how intimate, how stimulating conversation is. But my first encounter with it, I think, was when you talked about really being inside of a woman. And I'm thinking about when I was married. You know, me and my husband at the time, we had 6 children together in 8 years. So he was in me physically.
Yes.
He got on in there.
He got in this.
And worked it out. But he wasn't really in me. And I didn't realize how much he wasn't in me, how he had not really entered my heart. Or, like, I love what you said. Intimacy is not about getting into somebody. It's about letting someone into you. And so I'm going to rephrase that. I wasn't in him. He wouldn't let me in. And when, you know, I've talked before about being unfaithful toward the end of my marriage, but it was words. This man that I ended up having the affair with wasn't even physically, sexually attracted to me. It was words. It was the language of intimacy that he used on me that really caused me to experience a level of connection that, and I think at that time I've been married 10 years, that 10 years of physical intercourse with my husband had never happened. I had a connection with this man through simply conversation that had never happened in 10 years, with actual physical intercourse, having babies, doing ministry together. Ministry does not equate intimacy. Those words are they're not interchangeable. No. We cleaned house together. We went through trauma together, bought a house together. We were homeless together. We did stuff together, but there was no connection there. And I didn't realize there was no connection there until I had a connection with somebody. and all of a sudden the nothingness of what I had at home was exposed because of words. And so, language is very, very powerful. And a lot of people, since I went that way, need to understand that most affairs do not happen because somebody is seeking sex. Affairs happen because people are seeking intimacy, even if they don't realize it. Because we are wired for intimacy. We're wired for connection. That's why God said in the Word, okay, everything He made, we talked about this before, George, everything He made, He said, it is good, it is good, it is good. He continually said what He made was good until it got to the man being alone. And all of a sudden He said, it is not good. And the first time He declared that something wasn't good was concerning the man not being intimately connected to another compatible being. And so we are wired for intimacy. So even if we don't realize we need it, we long for it. Talk to me about that.
You know what? And as I look at my notes, I want to throw out two words: satisfaction and creation.
Okay.
And a lot of times, as you said, in the book of Genesis, when God created first, and then He said, it's good. And a lot of times we're trying to go for the good first. True intimacy, creation first. True intimacy wants something to become. Let me take a Dr. Intimacy note.
Okay.
Is when you connect with somebody the right way, you are becoming something that never existed before.
Ooh.
See, I listen.
I love it.
So now, when creation now is the goal of my connection with you, the good is a byproduct of the creation. But we're not creating, we're just going for satisfaction. God created, God spoke, and it was His words. It was His words that engendered, it was His words that empowered creation. And after the words empowered creation, then He was able to pronounce, it's good.
Okay.
When I speak to you, when I speak to the one I love, in order to create, in order to build up what is not there. The Bible says in Genesis 1 that the Spirit of God hovered over the face of the water. He hovered over chaos. And He began to speak order. Can I see your brokenness and speak it to you? Can I see your ugly parts and still speak to your beauty? How do you look to me with no socks and with the lights on?
Let's see, we got a caller. All right, caller, you're live on the air. Inspired Intimacy Talk Radio. Who's calling? Where are you calling from? Hello, caller. Live.
Walking group.
Yeah, no.
Walking.
No, wrong number. Okay, sorry about that, guys. I was like, shoot, I haven't even given the number out yet. If you do want to call in, though, and comment on this, 214-431-5062, 214-431-5062, if you want to comment on this. But, man, that is so powerful, what you're saying about the connection and the creation, because a true intimate connection does begin to create something that didn't before exist. And that's what really, even if I can continue to pull on this experience that I had, what really, really began to make me fall in love with this man was not so much how I felt about him. I mean, that was a part of it, but it was the way he made me feel about myself. That was really the thing. I mean, real intimate language, it builds something in you. It speaks something into you. When Adam connected with that woman, he immediately gave her an identity. And intimacy gives you a new identity. Intimate language, the language of intimacy, it redefines who you are in your own eyes. And so my perception of myself began to change because of the way this individual spoke to me. I felt worthless and beat down and ugly and unequipped and ineffective and like a failure. This is how I felt before meeting him, and little by little by little, he just made me believe in myself, made me see myself differently. And I was like, yeah, I think I can do that. Okay, I can do this. I can go there. And so it really began to change my perception of who I was. So as much as there was a feeling for him, I was in love with the way I felt about myself around him. And so we need to understand that the language of intimacy causes you to connect with something deep and important inside of you. It doesn't just connect you with the person, but it's deep calling unto deep.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the deep in you connecting with the deep in that individual. And that's how you can tell the difference between shallow words of flattery and words of true intimacy, because they can sound very similar.
Yes, you know, what happens is that when we haven't been taught to recognize what real intimacy is, watch this. When Adam sees Eve for the very first time, he wakes up and he sees her. He does not comment on her physical beauty. He does not comment on her proportions, her body. He doesn't speak to any of that. He speaks to the part of him that he sees within her. He says, now you are bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. So in yoga, in the East, there's a term called namaste, which means the God in me recognizes the God in you. True intimacy is the God in me connecting to the God in you. God is one. So when man and woman come together and become one, God now then sees himself in that connection. Can God see himself in what you call your relationship, in what you call your marriage? Because the Bible tells that he cannot. So now he will recognize himself in it when it becomes truly intimate. If it is I tell you this all the time. When you see that woman, if you cannot see yourself in her, then don't put yourself in her.
I love that. I love that. I love that. Let's take a quick break right there. That's a good place to pause and just think. This is Dr. Intimacy. You are tuned into the language of intimacy, words that penetrate the heart and stimulate the mind, with George E. Baker III. Yours truly, Dr. Intimacy, J Revival, our co-producer in the house. We're broadcasting live from FBRN.US right here in Arlington, Texas. We'll be right back for more of this naked discussion.
Sauce.
Oh, this is a good one. I was trying to tell you, I need to see my Facebook Live page.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I need to see
I thought you
it.
said go Facebook Live on here. I couldn't, so I just started taking.
No, because I can't respond to people if I'm not on there.
Gotcha.
You know, people.
I got some good videos though, so it wasn't for waste.
Cool. You can share that Facebook Live video
Okay.
to your page, George.
All right.
That way people can see you here.
Man, this show has been really powerful so far.
Oh my gosh, I love this song.
I know this one is so fire.
We're listening to This Woman's Worth on Maxwell Facebook Live. Wish I could play it louder, but last time I put a video loud in the studio, Facebook blocked me, saying we didn't have the rights to play songs off block. We can't hear. Let's see. Hey, what's up? What's up, Lakeisha? How you doing, Michael? Davis, how you doing, Michael? I'm sorry I've been gone so long. What's up, Otis? Let's see what you said. That's true, Michael. Can a man be intimate with a woman? Huh? Can a man be intimate with a woman without being intimate? I don't understand that question, Michael. Can you rephrase that question? Devon Tatum, Michael, there's different levels of intimacy. You can give somebody your body, but it's a form of intimacy without the connection. I like that point, Devon. There are definitely different levels of intimacy. It's not something that's either there or not there. There are different levels of intimacy, and the more you open up to the person, the more you strip down, the more authentic you are, the deeper you can go. So, all right. So we'll be back in about 1 minute. Keep those good comments coming, guys.
This song is fire. I'm listening to this tonight.
I need
Maxwell's
some water. I'm so
too.
thirsty.
greatest song is Till the Cops Come Knocking. Till the Cops Come Knocking.
I've never heard that.
I can't hear you.
Oh, Till the Cops Come Knocking is Maxwell's greatest song.
I don't know that one.
I've never heard that.
Matter of fact, if you really want to go depth, he had a song named Submerge. Oh, man.
I see why you
I
got
like
some
that.
kids, man. No, I'm just kidding.
I like Pretty Wings. You ever hear
Pretty
that
Wings
one?
is
I
good.
love Pretty Wings,
But
man.
when you hear Submerge, your whole, it would, Submerge.
Send it to me. I mean, not right now.
I would do that. I would do that. Yeah, Submerge would take you to a place. You'll be like, wow.
All right, let's come out of this break. Thank you, sir.
Uh-huh. Oh, this is so fire. Okay, here we go.
All right. This is Dr. Intimacy. Man, Maxwell gets me so mellow. I feel like I'm a disc jockey right now with the quiet storm or something. I gotta pump it.
Storm.
I gotta pump it back up. Hey, this is your girl, Dr. Intimacy from Queens, New York. What?
Hey, that song was fire though.
Speaking of New York, shout out to the New York Giants. I know all you Dallas fans hating me. Listen, I like the Cowboys, okay? They just can't beat the Giants. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
This is Inspired Intimacy Talk Radio. We're having naked discussions about love, life, and intimacy. Hashtag no socks. We're already getting naked in the studio with my special guest, George E. Baker III. George, we are we're stripping down in here. We're stripping down. So you're talking about something really, really powerful before the break. Jump back into that.
I was talking about when Adam saw Eve, and he spoke to her as if speaking to himself, because he saw in her that which was missing, that which he was longing for. Often intimacy is about finding yourself in a person, allowing that person to find themselves in you, to where you two can come together, not just be one. Once again, here's my intimacy moment. Being has never existed before. Being something totally new that cannot even be recognized by someone outside your unit. Have you ever seen a relationship where you wonder, what does he see in her? What does she see in him?
Yes.
Well, they see themselves in one another.
The best part of themselves.
They see the best in me. They see everything that I am created to be. I see it in you.
That's powerful.
I see God's pronouncement. Think about it. When God said to Adam, it's not good for man to be alone, he had Eve in mind then. So when God began speaking to your intimate place, he had somebody in mind when he started speaking about your brokenness.
Wow.
And when you meet that person, you will realize this is the one. When God spoke to me, this is who he was talking about. This is what my soul has been lost. This is the one that I now see what truly being complete is. And most of the time we tend to tap out, we tend to settle out for just what works for the moment. But when you look at that person, the one you're with, and please don't do it right now, but do you see your forever in them? That's real intimacy. When there's nothing about me that I can see, there's no life mission, there's no business, there's no ministry, there's nothing in my future that I don't see you in. If there's any aspect in my life that I don't see you as a part of, what does that really say?
So, are you saying suggesting though that people have to be completely compatible and connected on every level
I,
for
I believe
relationships to work?
I believe this. I believe that intimacy seeks. And there are no two people that are going to be totally, when you meet that person, that you're going to like to play PlayStation just like I do. But there is a, what is the word I want to use? It's almost there's a mission within you to be what that person desires, to be what that person needs, even when they don't necessarily know what they need at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not about that I like everything you like or you like everything that I like, but it is we fit together so personally. Here's intimacy. Here's another definition of intimacy. When I'm not afraid to show you my weakness. As a man, if the godly pronouncement is that a woman is a helpmeet, a suitable companion. If the only thing I ever show you is my strength, then you don't know what to reinforce. Because all I ever show you is where I'm strong.
That's good. That's really good.
What
Wow.
we've been taught as men is I have to be strong. I have to be I pick up the heavy boxes. I cut the grass. But can I trust you with my weakness?
Right, right,
Because now that's letting you into me.
right.
There's the intimacy. That now where I'm weak, Samson. Now we want to call Delilah a bad girl, but let me help somebody. Delilah had the desire, the same like every woman wants for a man. Where's your weakness? So where can I help you? Where can I complete you? Now Delilah wanted that knowledge for the wrong reason. But every woman wants to know, the man in my, where can I make you better? How can I protect you? Because as men, we do need to be protected. But because we want to put the S on our chest, we don't want to admit that.
I think it's even deeper than what you're saying, that every woman wants to know that. I think it goes even deeper than that. I think every woman knows. It is a woman's, a real queen, a real Proverbs 31 woman that connects intimately with a man, knows what his weakness is, and she wants to build that. And I have experienced in so many relationships, the resentment of a man because I can see his weakness. That he doesn't want that to be shown. He doesn't want that to be seen. He doesn't want anybody to know that the male ego, and it happens with women too. It's not even just men, but since you brought up the men and that S on their chest, that a man can actually resent a woman that has the ability to see his weakness, even if she's not trying to expose him and only build him in that place. And that speaks back to what you were saying, the compatibility, not being able to see that person in every aspect of your future, or just not even understanding what intimacy is, that it is. I just love the way you said that. And you said that you're saying something that I say. I don't remember what show it was. I'm going to have to go find it, because you said that intimacy creates something that you've never been before. So while sometimes a person that fears intimacy or doesn't understand intimacy is ashamed to be naked, ashamed to be authentic, that they don't want somebody to see their weaknesses, they fail to understand that if I allow you into that weak place, I will no longer be weak there. If I let you come into that place, my weakness will become my strength through the connection that I have with you. Because when something is weak, if you have a broken joint, let's just say you break a bone, what do? You wrap something around it to strengthen it so that you can hold it together and it can heal. And intimacy is like that cast that you put around your weak places so that those weak places can, in safety, come back together and heal. So there's a beauty in allowing somebody into your weakness, because your weakness is no longer your weakness, and any broken bone heals stronger. When a broken bone heals, it's stronger than it was before it broke.
See, you're blessing me. you're blessing me right now, because one of the things that happens, especially as men, those of us who, I grew up, I was active in sports, I was competitive powerlifter, so being strong was always my thing. I had to prove that I was stronger, I was bigger, I was strong, I was faster, and especially because I wasn't that tall in high school. So I was motivated to be. I had to be the strongest one. I had to be the best. And as men, we're so taught to project strength. And what we do is we have neglected our weak spots for so long that when we meet the woman that God has for us, we don't even know how to be naked. I don't know how. I have spent all my life covering up my weakness. That now I don't even remember where I put it. Have you ever hidden something from yourself?
Yes.
And as men, that's often what we do. We hide our weaknesses even from ourselves because we neglect it so long. Because I concentrate on what I'm good at. For those of us who are in ministry, I'm a great preacher, I'm anointed, I'm this, I'm that. And we neglect the fact that I really don't even know how to relate to people outside of the church. I know how to meet. I can take you out to dinner. I can wine you and dine you. I can be nice. But when it comes to letting you in and letting you see the me that is outside, that is beyond my public face, it's like going to a swimming pool. At different levels, there's different depths. How deep do I really want to let you swim in me?
Right. And that's what I was saying to Devon Tatum on. They're different. He made a statement. There are different levels of intimacy. You're not either in or out. It's how deeply I will allow you to come in. Let me read some of these comments here. They're lighting it up on Facebook. Devon, again, he said something really powerful. He was talking about an experience in college, and he said the level of intimacy that we share is that level that doesn't need sex, but just being in the same room. We climax in the spirit and in the mind, which is an amazing feeling.
Well, the thing about this is that the sensuous part of us always seeks an orgasmic experience. The intimate part of me seeks a cosmic experience. It seeks something that is so beyond words, that is so beyond my body, beyond anything my body can even fathom. When was the last time? Think about it. When Solomon, in the Song of Solomon, when he wrote his love letter to the woman he loved, when he began to talk about, he began comparing her to all the beauty of nature. Do you think he had any problem saying, "Hey, now go make me a sandwich"? Because he spoke into her what she had never heard before. He took her to a place that she began seeing herself as that work and wonder of nature. And true intimacy is, there was an old song, who was it? Jermaine Stewart, that sang the song, "We don't have to take our clothes off to have a good time."
Yeah,
that's before Jay Revival's time. That's before his time.
I let her hear that song though. You remember that Jay Revival? I let you hear that song. It's on my YouTube, my old school playlist. But let me speak to what Devon was saying here, because I think this is so powerful. He's talking about a level of intimacy that's beyond sex, beyond words, where it is just your mere presence now that will cause me to have an ecstasy that is beyond what I could just experience in the body. And you said that the sensual side is looking for something orgasmic, but you said the intimate side is looking for something cosmic.
Yes.
No, I think they're one and the same. And I think that's part of the problem with relationships, with marriages, with dating, that we somehow separate the two. But that when you really learn the language of intimacy, when you begin to understand intimacy, that when you have that intimate experience, when you have that real intimate connection with somebody, that every orgasmic experience is a cosmic experience. Every experience takes you, like what Devon is talking about right now. If you can have that level of ecstasy just sitting in the room with somebody, right? And this is what gets people in trouble. I want to tell you something that was said to me, okay? But if you can have that level of ecstasy just sitting in the room. How much more now when you connected on a physical level, when you cross that barrier to connect spirit, soul, and body? Because a lot of people just only connect in body so they have an orgasm. They climax physically. Some people connect emotionally so they climax in the soulish realm. But then people who really get that heart-to-heart intimate connection, they know how to climax in the spirit. They have that spiritual ecstasy. And it really makes you want to bring those three together, where you go to some plane of existence that's just really out of this world. And so there's really not there shouldn't be a separation.
Shouldn't be.
There is, but there shouldn't be a separation between the two. That we should be striving to achieve that in our intimate relationship, in our marriages. And of course, part of the problem with that is that we don't marry, we date. And that's part of the problem. Because you cannot reach that level of intimacy when you're switching partners. You just can't.
Thank you. No.
You can't.
And the thing about it is that what we have done, we've gotten this whole relationship thing so backwards. Because we're out looking for love, and we assume that if I love this person right, then my love will make a marriage strong. Mm-hmm. But really, marriage makes love strong. When you are committed to being one with that person, love then becomes the byproduct of my intimacy, of my opening up to you and you opening up to me, and us connecting, as you say, on that physical, on that body, soul, and spirit level. Mm-hmm. Because there's no way, if we are connected body, soul, and spirit, there's no way. Of course, the emotion of love is going to come. Because why? Because now we are so intertwined in one another.
Right.
That how can you, when we become one, when we become that which has never existed, how, to not love me would be to not love yourself.
Exactly.
There's why even biblically, you saw people that they would meet one another and get married and turn around and be together for years till they die. Why? Because in the covenant of marriage, there is an expectation in the covenant as God designed it. There is an expectation of intimacy. There is a demand on intimacy. There's a demand for intimacy. There's a demand for us to be that which has never existed.
I want you to pick up on what Charles Smith did. Shout out to King Charles Smith. I love you. He comes on Thursday night, 7 p.m. right here in the Blue Bowl. King Charles, question of the week. His show is amazing. But he made some kind of comment. Read it out loud and speak to him.
I once heard someone say that intimacy
No, not that one. I'm sorry. Go back up. He was talking about the language of intimacy.
Yes, we failed to learn the language of intimacy. If healthy intimacy is not modeled for us, we fail to learn the language of intimacy. If one of our childhood parents is depressed, wounded, bitter, emotionally absent, or abusive, in these cases, we often become even more proficient in the other two languages in an attempt to compensate for the language we lack. Other kinds of wounds also push us away from the most basic language: loss, unresolved grief, illness, etc.
Hi, caller. You're live on the air with Dr. Intimacy and George E. Baker III. Who's calling? Where are you calling from?
My name is King Charles. I'm calling from Fort Worth, Texas.
Oh, we must have talked to you up. We were just reading your comment over the air. Man, that is so deep what you wrote.
Great show. That's a great show. I want to first tell you that it's a lot of deal with a lot of information. I hope the listeners are getting all this information because it's stuff going on. And this language of intimacy is really, really, really important, especially for a man, in my opinion. Because it's like an unarmed encounter between two vulnerable individuals, and I think a man has to couple himself to understand the language of intimacy. It's kind of like getting out of himself. Appreciating another person, the deeper the connection with the person who's talking with, with who you're communicating with.
Yeah, and this comment that you wrote, it was so powerful. You said, let me go back to the top one here. You said the language of intimacy, the most important language we can know, is neglected. The language that assists us in developing relationships of trust and hope and understanding. The language that assures that we are not alone emotionally and physically in our world is often forgotten. A vast array of forces push us to improve our skill with the second and third language, and other forces push us to neglect the first language. That was just so, that was so powerful, so powerful.
Thank you. And I truly believe that because, you know, like in today's society, a lot of people have gotten away, especially with social media, technology, yada, yada, yada. People have gotten away with really communicating, you know, really just communicating. And just take a man and a woman for instance. You know, in today's society, more or less, a lot of people is straightforward to what they want and what they need, you know, and not necessarily getting to know a person, you know, their ins and outs and do's and don'ts, you know, and their intimate conversation is becoming ancient.
Yeah, yeah, you are so right. You're so right. You want to say something to him, George?
Yes. Yeah. And just to segue into your other comment about when we have a parent or a loved one or someone who is in authority of us that is broken and they're bitter, they're hurt, they have unresolved issues. What happens is that we're taught then, because of that hurt person, all we're taught how to do is defend ourselves. And we put a wall around ourselves. We put a wall around our heart. We put a wall around our emotions because we're hearing that other person say, don't ever let anyone hurt you. Don't let anybody get over on you. And so out of their bitterness, they sow that into us. And maybe nobody's ever hurt me yet, but then I enter into relationships saying, well, I'm going to make sure they don't hurt me. And when you have that type of bitterness being expressed to you, guess what? Of course, no one hurts you because you're going to hurt them first.
Wow.
Because you're going to keep them this by the time you come close. And so
another thing that I was thinking about pertaining to this topic is in the community, we're saying we're the only challenge really our mission is a lack of communication. Because people are afraid to be vulnerable in their conversation. You know, when a lot of men today, their belief system is so far up with pride that they don't even want to tell a woman how they feel or what they want or what they desire. You know, they still want to stand on this macho stuff, you know, and not really release their sensitivity. You know, in all actuality and reality, most queens, and I'm going to refer queens, appreciate sensitivity in a man.
Right. What do you think about what I said earlier, Charles, about how a man, when he's trying to hide his weakness, can actually resent the woman who's trying to heal him because she can see that weakness?
Yeah, it's a facade. It's a facade. It's kind of like this. I'm gonna use an analogy, like a drug addict. A drug addict will walk around all day long, be high, doing scheming, doing all these things to get high, and in his mind, he don't think nobody knows. And the same thing what you're just talking about. You know, a man tries so hard to avoid certain things and whatever the case may be, but the woman that he's dealing with already knows she just want to hear it. I hear that say it.
That is so wonderful. Well, thank you so much for calling in, King Charles. Listen, we got to get you back into the studio on the show. First of the year. Yeah, I want you back in here. We need you in here. And I want to come visit you guys as well on your show Thursday night. King Charles Question of the Week, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. right here in the Blue Bowl. Make sure you catch his show. But thank you so much for calling in and sharing that insight. Absolutely amazing and powerful. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for taking my call. And this week's show that I'm having from 7 to 9 in the Blue Bowl is Christmas Expo.
Ooh, Christmas Exposed.
I may call into that show.
I might listen. I might have to audio bomb the studio. You know how to be photo bombing. I'm gonna have.
Thanks for having me on.
Okay. Christmas Exposed. So what's that all about? That sounds so juicy.
You know, may I say this, Dr. Intimacy?
Yeah, please.
You know, as the caller was saying, that as men, we hide behind a facade of what we've been taught that manhood is.
Okay.
And oftentimes the things that we think make us strong as a man are the things that actually make us weak. And as you said, when a true queen, she can see through all that. One of my favorite, well, I'm a big comic book fan. I'm an Incredible Hulk fan. So when Banner becomes the Hulk, but in the presence of Betty, when Betty Ross comes, it doesn't matter. He could have been on a rampage. He can tear up a whole city, destroy a whole army. But when Betty Ross comes around, the rage goes away because she sees, as everybody else sees the Hulk, this mindless monster, all this destruction. She knows the David Banner that's on the inside, and she's able to speak to that. She's able to speak to the one, and a true queen will always be able to see past all of your rage, all of your hurt, and sometimes as men, we will push that woman away because no, you're getting too close.
Yes.
Because an unhealed wound is always painful. So once something or someone touches it, now, no, you're causing me pain. But that pain really, my brother, is your healing. But because we have carried it around so long, and it becomes a part of us. So now I don't want you to talk that. No. Just tell me that you like the flowers I bought you. Tell me you like that I pay the bills. But don't touch this area because I want to talk about it. And I can say this even for myself. We have let some good women get away because we're so upset. We want people to tell us how strong we are. Wow. But what do you do when somebody says, "Let me help you"? Because again, we're tough. You better be able to pick that up. You better be able to carry that. You better be able to pull that. But when somebody comes along, how many men have hurt themselves picking up something they really knew was too heavy for them?
Being a back brace, right?
But because I'm taught I'm not supposed to say that I can't do it or I'm not able. Wow. I'm supposed to be everything you need day one. But then you speak to that part of me that I have never addressed. We're not going to talk about that. And so now you're emotionally in a back brace because you've been carrying what you're not qualified to carry.
Wow.
And as a man, we have let women that have said, just let me help you. We let them get away because why? Because you don't relate to me the way everybody else relates to me, or that I want to be related to.
Let's take this call. Caller, you're live on the air with Dr. Intimacy. Who's calling? Where are you calling from?
Hello.
Hi. Can you hear us?
Yes, I hear you.
Okay, you need to turn your speakers down.
Okay.
There you go. Who's calling? Where are you calling from?
Hi, this is Evangeline with Tanya Simmons from McKinney, Texas.
All right, we got McKinney in the house. Thank you so much. What would you like to comment or say about our show tonight?
I heard Apostle say, a true queen will see through his rage. No. You don't see through no rage. You get out of town. Rage is crazy. A real woman knows how to burst out of the potential. of a godly man that she sees. Even though she desired and he desired her, you got to know how to birth out the love, the prosperity, the family, the value, the worth that you see in that other person. You can't birth out rage. You can't upstand rage. You can get back and pray for those people. That's not right. I might not make any sense to you, but a real queen, she's looking for something similar to a Boaz, not a Bozo. Bozo has rage. So y'all be blessed. Thank you. God bless you. Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you, sis.
Thank you.
Well, that was an interesting point. I mean, I can understand somewhat where she's coming from because of the way we're talking about the language of intimacy now. So now, now since she brought that up, I'm just gonna pick apart your words.
Okay.
Rage is a spirit. I mean that's a demonic spirit. I think that word may have set her off because it's a very violent, destructive spirit, and so her spirit was not able. She like, no, I'm gonna correct this, and I know why she did that because a lot of women are so busy trying to stick with a man that has all kinds of issues that he doesn't want to get fixed, that they're being beat on, cheat on, they got drug addicts, and so she's saying no, if you got you a real king, he got his rage under control. You don't have to see through it because it doesn't exist. You get the heck out of Dodge. So, I'm feeling her, but I understand what you were saying too.
I'm going to say this. A lot of times we, as men, a man's greatest rage is going to be the rage he feels against himself. Sometimes we're so in pain. If you've ever seen a person in pain, a person in pain will. You can be taking them to the emergency room, and I remember when I tore my ankle years ago, and the doctor was coming in when he would come in to check on it when I was in the hospital after my surgeries and all that. I was like, man, I need you to not touch me because that hurts, and I'm mad at the doctor. He's the one getting me well, and so maybe if rage was too strong a word, how about pain? How about pain? Because a lot of men are acting out because of pain. Because we don't want to admit that. See, we don't want to admit that things hurt us.
Right.
Because we're taught you're a man. Pain is weakness. Do not be weak.
Yeah. Well, let's pick that up after the break. Okay. We're gonna take a quick break. I want to read some more of these Facebook comments, and I want to talk about why people are afraid of intimacy. Why do people fear intimacy? You said something that caused my mind to think about why people fear intimacy so much. Because if we fear intimacy, then we're not going to use the true language of intimacy, since the language of intimacy births intimacy. Okay?
Yes, it does.
And I also want to make a quick comment. I'm going to drop the mic on this one and go to break before anybody can say anything about it. But she talked about a queen birthing a man out. A woman can't give birth to a man. A woman came out of man. Man didn't come out of woman. But anyway, drop the mic on that. Let's go to break. I couldn't let that hang out there. That's bothering. You don't give birth to no man. If you give birth to him, he's a baby.
I know,
you
right?
give birth to babies, not to men.
Ooh,
how you gonna
good.
give birth to a man?
That's good.
The king comes grown.
Dang.
But what you do is you nurture the king in a man. You don't give birth to a king. You nurture a king.
I like how you think.
That's good.
Anyway.
What song is this?
This is Give Me Love by Ed Sheeran.
Ed Sheeran.
Sheeran, I always say his name wrong, always. It's a beautiful song.
Oh, we gotta play this other song tonight. And baby, I good loving you. Man, this show is so powerful. Man, I'm feeling
I can't
convicted.
see all my comments. You still with us, Michael? Michael was talking about how powerful conversation is. Bishop Shanta Green
Shante
said,
Green.
"Hey, George."
Hey, what's going on, Bishop Shante? We actually grew up next door to one another in Missouri. That is
Okay.
my friend. Yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
all right.
yeah. His uncle, his late uncle who just passed away, was my pastor for years.
Oh.
Yeah. We've been like brothers since. Oh God. Forever. Just say it like that, forever.
Ah, Devon, you said you liked the caller. Yeah, she was fired up. I get what she's saying, but to me, a real queen will fight his rage to save his king and bring him back to the light of peace. Depends on whether or not that rage is directed toward her. I mean, you can't fight a rage that's directed towards you. It will destroy you. So it depends. Because I was in that situation where I was with, you know, and my husband, I mean, this is off air, but my husband was passive aggressive. He had a rage that came out. He never yelled at me, never raised a hand at me, didn't yell. But it was a rage that came out in a form of neglect and emotional abuse, and everything that he did, everything that he said, I could feel it every day. I slept with it. There was an anger there, and it was directed toward me. So, you know, I tried for 10 years to nurture the king in him. But he hated me so much for being aware of the weakness that he was trying so hard to hide, that all of the rage was directed toward me. So I was constantly being attacked by the rage that I was trying to help resolve. So even that analogy you made, George, about the doctor wanting to touch you, but the doctor is going to heal you, true. But have you ever seen one of those shows where the patient attacks the doctor
Oh, yeah.
to the point where the
I've
doctor
attacked
is
the
not,
doctor.
the doctor is not able to perform?
I
So-
made the doctor leave my room. No. You get out of here. Y'all got to knock me out to do what y'all
So
do.
you can't heal somebody that's trying to hurt you.
No,
Because
no,
if you
no.
and the doctor become sick, then you can't help the doctor once you hurt him.
No, you can't. And one of the things that we do as men, we're taught to be so defensive. We're taught to always keep people at a distance. Oftentimes our children become adults, and we're distant from them. All because I don't need anything that reminds me of. It's like most men don't even tell me if my shoe is untied. I'm gonna pretend like everything is all right. I need you to pretend like everything is all right too. And what's the old song? Yes, I'm the great pretender, pretending that I'm doing well.
All right, that's enough of this song.
Alright, ready?
Yeah. All right, that's Ed Sheeran, Give Me Love. I love that song so much. It's so deep. He's just begging for love, begging to really be loved, especially at the end of the song.
Yeah,
He goes, love me.
He begging sorry, speaking in tongues. I'm playing.
Hey, this is Dr. Intimacy. You tuned in to Inspired Intimacy Talk Radio, broadcasting live from FBRN.US. Shout out to the Fishbowl family. We're having naked discussion about love, life, and intimacy. Hashtag no sock to my special guest, George E. Baker. Got my co-producer in the house, Jay Revival. And we are really being, we are naked in the studio tonight, George. You think, are we naked in here?
We're good and naked. Look, there is nothing that is hidden.
Nothing is hidden.
Nothing is hidden.
Yeah, nothing is hidden. So I told you that we were going to talk about why people are afraid of intimacy. And this is why people fear intimacy, okay? Because at its core nature, intimacy requires, it is a prerequisite, means that there is no way around it. Intimacy requires vulnerability. There is no way to protect yourself from the potential of pain in an intimate relationship. It's impossible. It is impossible to protect yourself from the potential of pain in an intimate relationship. True intimacy on the deepest, most passionate, most heart-to-heart, spirit-to-spirit, connected level requires you to be utterly vulnerable to whatever that person would do to you. And that is why people are afraid of intimacy.
Exactly. Well, you know, when we talk about nakedness, let me give you a biblical example. When Jonathan realized that David was the one anointed king by God, the Bible says that they met in a field, and Jonathan stripped off his armor, stripped himself naked in front of David, laid his armor down at David's feet. Now, he didn't ask David to undress. He didn't ask David to take off his armor. I recognize in you that you are the one, that you are God's choice. So now I'm naked before you. So whatever you choose to do to me, if you draw your sword and slice me open, that is intimacy. That if you never, intimacy, when I decide to be intimate with you, if you never get naked in front of me, I expose myself and become naked in front of you. So that I take off every weapon, everything that I have used to fight, every tool that I've ever used to fight for my identity, for my self-image. I literally have to say, I am nothing before you, and so whatever I am is what you are, what we are going to be together.
And you know what? When you said that, it took me back to my little school days. I'll show you yours, and I'll show you mine, and show me yours.
Well, in my dirt school, I'm gonna just show you mine. Now, what you do with it after that, that's on you.
Well, you're a guy. That's easier for you because, you know, with a guy always thinks, you know, if he flashes it, there's the potential for something else to happen. But a woman makes herself vulnerable when she shows hers.
Yes.
But what I really thought about when you talked about stripping down, okay, you talked about Jonathan stripping down, and he didn't ask David to do the same. But I thought about removing clothing. And the reason I thought about, you know, I'll show you mine if you show me yours, is because removing clothing is a process. You know, we take off one piece at a time. I mean, unless you just have a dress on and you're naked underneath, you take off one piece at a time. You'll take your shoes off, then you'll take your socks off, then you can take your pants off, then your shirt, then your bra, then your panties. You know, you work your way all the way down. And in a relationship, I don't think that, matter of fact, I know it's not wise for us to just strip down to the most intimate, bare bones level with somebody that's not willing. You know, we got everything off. They haven't even taken their shoes off yet. They're standing at the door with their shoes, coat, hat on, ready to run, and you're standing there completely butt naked. And intimacy doesn't work if it's not a two-way flow. It doesn't work if it's not you can't make yourself vulnerable to somebody that won't make themselves vulnerable to you and expect that to not end in pain. That is going to end in disaster. It's really going to hurt. And so we have to take our time. You know, I can't stop pulling on what Devon Tatum said earlier, that there are different levels of intimacy. So if I go first and I take my shoes off, I'm not going to take anything else off until you take your shoes off. Because it's not wise for me to just let you dive all the way into me and you haven't even opened the door yet.
You know, oftentimes in intimacy, we're standing outside of a person, kind of like the big bad wolf, saying, let me in, let me in. And we huff and we puff. And oftentimes as men, we so crave having that woman in a way that no one else has ever had her. But then yet we give her what we've given every other woman.
Say that again. Say that.
We desire to have a woman in a way that no one else has ever had her. But we want to give her what we've given every other woman. We want the best of her, but we give her, hey, this is what I do.
Right. That's something else.
And that comes down to the difference between being trained for performance and equipped for intimacy. Show me a man. See, because think about it, men, growing up, any other young man, as a boy, any other boy, if he had cried about anything, if he showed any pain, we consider him to be weak. Oh, he's a sissy, he's a wimp, he's a chump. You know, we had to stub our toes and act like it didn't hurt. I remember I have a cousin named Albert. He was a professional boxer. And when I was 12, 13, 14, he would walk up, hit me in the middle of my chest, hit me in my jaw, hit me in my head. Don't you cry. If you cry, you a sissy. And I would just have to grip my teeth and hold it. And that really became the story of my life. That whenever I felt pain, I couldn't express it. I couldn't cry. I could cry. I remember crying at my grandfather's funeral when I was 13. And other than that, other than funerals, no, you can't cry. You're strong. You have to be strong for everybody else. And we fight for everybody's battle. And we never win World War Me. I never win the battle inside myself. And when I don't win that battle, now I can meet a woman and I can actually genuinely and legitimately love that woman. But and she may say, listen, let me help you fight this battle. But because we have ran from that battle, anytime you take me to the battlefield within me, I'm going to run from you and it. Because why? Because I'm afraid of intimacy.
Now, Sean Mitchell made such a powerful statement about what we've been saying. He says, so to be truthful is to be naked. Then intimacy holds truthfulness in nakedness.
Yes.
And that's so true. That's so true. And it reminds me of something that I said earlier on in the show that I wanted you and the Facebook listeners to comment on. The difference between intimacy, the language of intimacy and flattery. Because it can sound so similar. And, you know, I have I get a lot of attention from men. I get a lot of attention, a lot of words, okay? Men, they really are very careful to speak right words to me, to try to get into my heart. And any brother that got game knows that you can say certain things to a woman to get her attention that might not get her attention any other way. But sometimes that's just flattery. It's not an authentic language of intimacy. It's really a type of manipulation to get that woman in a posture of submission or openness so that you can go in and take something from her that you have no intention of. And so, but they sound so similar. The words are the same. The spirit behind them is not. The words are the same, but the spirit behind them is not. And I've really become a lot more, especially since I've been doing the show, George, because I get a lot more attention now that I do the show. You know, like I'm a little celebrity, you know what I'm saying? But
Can I have your autograph, please?
Definitely. I'm gonna hook you up.
Okay.
But you know, in this day and age of 2016, anybody can be a celebrity. You work that Facebook page, right? Your Instagram page. I mean, you can be a celeb. So that's really nothing. But it's brought a lot of more attention to me, and so I've become so much more cognizant of the difference between the language of intimacy and flattery because it makes me feel different. I can have two guys say the exact same thing to me, right words, but with a completely different heart, different spirit. And one of them just makes my skin crawl. It can just make my skin crawl. It makes me cringe. And there's something that's just not authentic about it. It's not naked. And you will know when somebody is speaking flattery to you because when you try to move beyond that flattering speech, there's no substance there. There's nothing else to talk about. And I've exposed so many guys like that. Like, okay, that was real cool. That was so sweet. You made me blush. Let's have a conversation now. And there is nothing beyond that flattery. So you're a man. Talk to me about that.
But you have to understand, you know, back in my younger years, you know, my game was just so strong back in the day when I was younger. But you learn that game is just that. It's playing. It is. There's no serious intent. True the intent is to connect with you as I have never connected with anyone before. If all I want is what I've gotten from every other woman, that's flattery. I can tell you how good you look all day, and I'm articulate enough to just say it in such a way that you'd be like, wow. But do my words really penetrate your heart?
Right.
Intimacy beyond your ears and into your heart. Flattery, it'll bring a blush to your cheeks. It may put a smile on your face. But as you said, but when you really think about it, it begins to make your skin crawl. Because why? Because all flattery offers you is a superficial experience. True intimacy, if I am offering you not what I can do or how you make you feel. True intimacy is I'm offering you me. I'm laying myself down on the altar of your love and saying, whatever you, look, I am yours to do with as you please. Flattery looks to get. Flattery, I'm trying to get something from you.
That's good. That's good.
But in intimacy, I become the offering.
I love that. Wow. So flattery is trying to take.
Yes.
And intimacy is trying to give. I love that because that's so eloquently articulated what I experience and why it makes me back away, because it's almost like let me tell you what flattery feels like to me. It feels like a type of emotional molestation. Like I'm being emotionally molested. Like the words, they sound right, but they're harassing my soul somewhere. They're touching me in a place I don't want to be touched. It's like somebody coming by just, squeezing my butt or sticking their hand down my shirt or something. I'm like, hey, what are you doing with those words?
And you're not authorized to be there.
You're not authorized to be there, so you're trying to take something instead of building me up in the places that I need to be built in the way that I need to be touched. And when somebody has spoken right words to me with the right spirit, I know, because the language of intimacy is so powerful. It is impossible for somebody to enter into you and to allow you to, like you said, you become something that you never were before. Intimacy always creates something that never before existed. It's impossible for that to not have some type of impact on you. It changes you. In every intimate encounter, hear me and hear me well. Every intimate encounter transforms you in some way.
You know what? Because flattery trespasses. Intimacy treasures. Flattery violates. Intimacy validates.
That's good. That is so good.
When you may not be able to remember right off the top of your head. You may not remember all the sex you've had, but you will remember intimacy for the rest of your life.
That's true.
You will remember everyone who ever touched your heart.
Yes.
You will remember the one who reached into you and touched that place that nobody else. I could say a name, but I'm not going to say a name of a woman who literally. Wow. Anyway.
Yeah, flashbacks.
Wow. Don't make me get on my phone. Anyway, truly touched me like no other woman ever has, and no woman ever has since. Because I wanted to be immature. I let her get away. Every day I regret it.
Wow.
There's not a day that goes by that I do not think about her. Not a day. When I'm sitting by myself and I'm like, if I had the mind then that I have now, where would I be?
Now, how long ago was that? Okay. You said you were immature, so I was just wondering, was it 10 years ago, a year ago, 20 years?
As bad as I hate to say it, I was immature mature into my early 40s when it came to
Hey, we
relationships.
we're supposed
When
to
it
be
came-
hashtag no socks in here,
Yeah.
George.
When it came to relationships, I was immature and unfocused when it came to relationships until I was about 42 years old,
Okay.
and I'm 47 now. Because I had so many walls set up. I didn't want anyone close to me. I had been in ministry. I started ministry at a very early age, so I learned a long time ago. I knew how to put on the public face. I knew how to get in the pulpit or talking one. I knew how to be everything you needed me to be at that moment. But literally would go home and like if they ever saw the real me, you know, me that is at home lonely, the me that is at home hurting, the me that is in my 30s is not still the boy whose mama left him. So I was afraid I really poured intimacy till my early 40s because I did not want to deal with, and that's why I could understand what the brother Charles was saying about, you know, when you have that bitterness imparted into you, it will make you run from intimacy.
That's true. That's really true.
And so you carry around that pain, and I had someone, I had someone who said, let me help you carry that pain. And I didn't want to deal with it. So I'm going to leave you and the pain alone.
Sometimes we just, that's just
And-
the way it's got to be
And
sometimes.
you regret it afterwards. But in the middle of it, all you see is, I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to talk about this. And so I'm one of those, I was shut down. I don't want to talk.
Shoot, I don't know where that person is in my life. Please help me with my pain. Help me. I want to talk about it. I want to cry on your lap. I mean, I'm ready.
You know, I remember.
Let me read some of these comments here.
Okay.
Let's see. Sean Mitchell said, let's not put gender on this spin. Let's talk individuals because individuals are affected, not gender. That's a good point, but you need to call in and break that down, Sean. I mean, George is the one that keeps putting me into it. I'm just interacting with my guests.
Well, I can say this. You know what? I can speak as a man. I can speak what I've been through, but I can also say that I have met some women in my life that were very, very afraid of intimacy.
Absolutely.
You know, you take especially when a woman has been violated, she will put those walls up, and when you and every time you reach, I've dated women that had been abused, and if you reach to hug them, they tense up
That's true.
because the last man that reached toward them slapped them. Or
And part of the issue with that, George, is that people don't understand the difference between intimacy and sex. And so intimacy is such a negative, perverted way to speak and women, but since we're talking about women now, it's been portrayed in such a perverted way that intimacy means abuse. I remember it's coming at me when I was recently divorced, when I was newly divorced. I didn't even know how to receive a compliment from a man. I was afraid that in a simple compliment that he would say to me in every word, I want to have sex with you. That I just expected every man to want to physically, sexually violate me. So I was afraid to receive a compliment. I didn't want anybody to have my number. And there's no fear of intimacy. I'm just afraid of your motive. I'm intimacy. I've never had fear of intimacy. I'm afraid of your motive for wanting to be intimate. Do you want intimacy or do you want sexuality? So I was so distrustful of people's motive. Why are you to me? What do you want? Why do you want my number? Why do you want to go out to dinner? You know, we're not having sex afterwards, okay? I'm not going anywhere with you, you know, and it was just like this crazy standoffish, and they just thought that I was nuts. Like, you know, I had some issue with sex or something. It's like, that's not even the case at all, not even close. I just feel like everybody has a a wrong agenda. And so sometimes women can appear that way because of things that have happened to them when that's not even the case. But I had to learn, and we've made a lot of correlations between intimacy and sex and relationships, but intimacy doesn't always lead to sex. It doesn't always have to. It doesn't always have anything to do with sex. The language of intimacy has to extend far beyond romantic relationships. We have to use that language with our children. We have to use that language with our followers, with our leaders, with our friends, with our neighbors. That language of intimacy is a language that connects people on a heart level. It is a language that builds trust. It is a language that builds understanding. It is a language that it improves the effectiveness of communication. Intimacy, I am convinced, I'm thoroughly, utterly convinced, intimacy makes communication effective. Without intimacy, communication is ineffectual because every word that somebody speaks has a different meaning to me than it does to you. No two people say the same word and it have the exact same meaning. It means something different when I say it. So it is the intimacy that helps me get beyond the barrier of difference so that what you're saying to me translates the way that you mean it. And the way that I say it to you translates what I actually mean. Intimacy does that. And so that language of intimacy needs to be in every important relationship in our lives. And we have to appreciate non-sexual intimacy in our lives. We have to appreciate it. I told you earlier that I was going to tell you something that somebody said to me, and I think this is the perfect time. I was talking to this man who was married, and we had been having some sessions together. But in his way, as people often do me, they kind of get in and get free sessions from me. It's supposed to be paid for, but they'll find a way to kind of get in my space and just pick my brain to death, and so they can extract, information out of me, which I kind of like sometimes. But I like to get paid too. That's why book a session with me, please. And your sister gotta eat. But but anyway, we were having these conversations. He was married. We were having these conversations, and we were talking a lot. I was, saying some things to help him with his marriage, and just talking about intimacy and relationships and some things that he could do to help himself and so on and so forth. And I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 weeks into this, he made a statement to me that I was just really taken aback. I knew what it meant, but I was really taken aback by it. And the statement that he made to me, he said, since we've been talking, I've completely lost my desire for pornography. Mm-hmm. You satisfy everything in me. He said, I have not watched porn anymore since we've been talking. And he said, I have no desire for it. It's like I'm satisfied just talking to you. And that absolutely blew me away when he said that, because I thought about what pornography is, and it's a perverse it is a perverse depiction of a false intimacy. Not only is pornography a false intimacy, it is a perverse, violent depiction of a false intimacy. Yes. So it is the lowest form of non-intimacy that you could actually engage in. Pornography is just like the lowest of scum. For anybody that's listening, if you watch that and you think it's cool, it is the lowest form of false intimacy and perversion. It will destroy sexual fantasy, pornography will destroy intimacy in your life. It will destroy it. But when he said that, talking to me satisfied that part of him, I thought about what he had said, and it made so much sense to me. As I said, because you are experiencing pure intimacy, and you never experienced that before. You have no idea what intimacy really is, and our conversations are so pure that you've actually connected with somebody on a pure level in a way you have never experienced. And he hadn't even experienced that with his wife, simply because he doesn't know what intimacy is, didn't know how, like you said, to perform it. He was equipped for it, but didn't know how to act it out, I think we are intrinsically equipped for intimacy, but we don't connect with that God part in us that enables us to walk in a true nature of intimacy, because intimacy is not something that you do, it is something that you become. Intimacy is a nature that you have to live in. And so, that was so powerful for me. Now, of course, him not understanding that, I had to stop talking to him, because it developed into
something else.
Yeah, we so have intimacy and sex as one thing in our mind that when we develop that level of intimacy with people, we think that it has to become sex to fulfill itself.
Yes.
And that's why people end up getting into homosexual relationships with their friends. That is why people get into pedophilia. They become really close with a child, and there's an intimacy that they don't understand, and they think, well, intimacy means sex, so I've got to have sex with this person now. This is why pastors end up having sex with their congregants, because there's a level of intimacy that goes on in that counseling, and we just think, well, it's intimacy, it has to lead to sex, right? No, intimacy is for connectedness, it is for communication, it is for truth, it is for understanding, it is for oneness, it is for far more than just sexuality. And I know I went off on a tangent, so let me just stop and let you respond. But
you know what? I'm listening to you, and I'm just being blessed myself. But intimacy is about honesty and about wholeness. If I can't tell the truth to myself, I can never be intimate with you, because I can never present myself to you as I really am. Jesus, when he rose, he showed Thomas his wounds. We're afraid to show our wounds to people. We're afraid to say, hey, this is where I'm deficient. This is what I've been through. As I said earlier, it's about intent. When the intent, what is my real intent? And when I experience that real intimacy, do I even know what to do with it? It's like if you give a newborn child keys to a car, they can play with the keys, jingle them around. Every now and then, they may even push the button that will start it up or arm the alarm. But there's really nothing other than that. They don't really know how to function. They don't know how to operate it because they're not equipped to do so.
Hi, caller, you're live on the air with Dr. Intimacy. Are you calling for Inspired Intimacy? Hi, are you calling for Inspired Intimacy? Okay, we lost him, but go ahead. Yeah, you made a very important point. When people get intimacy, they don't know what to do with it.
They don't know what to do with it. And so, if I meet somebody, and they're drawing on the place of intimacy within me, and I've never had that, it becomes, what is this? What do I do with this? How do I even respond to this? It's almost like writing a